The lobby doors swing open. Cold air rushes past Caleb's face, carrying laughter and the sharp scent of expensive cologne. His shoulders press against the hotel's stone wall, coat collar pulled high against the November wind. Feet shuffle past without slowing. A woman's heel clicks twice, stops, then moves on. He doesn't look up anymore. The Grand Meridian Hotel stands 7 stories above him, glass windows reflecting a city that forgot he exists. Inside, crystal chandeliers throw light across the marble floors he'll never walk on. Outside, Caleb sits with his back straight, hands resting on his knees. Not begging, not asking, just present. A security guard watches from the entrance, arms crossed, jaw tight. Caleb knows that look. He's got maybe 10 more minutes before the polite removal begins. Before the rehearsed speech about property lines and guest comfort. Before he folds his coat, stands and disappears into the cold again. His hands tremble slightly. Not from fear, from memory. Through the glass, he can see them gathering. Men in tailored suits, women in dresses that cost more than 3 months of rent. They move like they own the air they breathe. Wine glasses clink. Voices rise and fall in practiced rhythm. Someone inside points at the piano. Black, gleaming, untouched. Caleb stares at it longer than he should. His fingers curl instinctively, muscle memory reaching for keys that aren't there. For a moment, the noise in his head goes quiet. Then someone laughs too loud and the spell breaks. A man steps outside, phone pressed to his ear, expensive watch catching the streetlight. He glances down at Caleb, and something shifts in his expression. Not pity, calculation. The man ends his call and doesn't walk away. What would you do if the world decided you were invisible? Would you let them erase you or remind them you're still here? Caleb wasn't always invisible. 12 years ago, his hands built roads through deserts where every mile could explode. Combat engineer, second tour, the kind of work that doesn't make headlines but keeps convoys moving and soldiers breathing. He remembers the weight of body armor in 100-degree heat, the metallic taste of fear before clearing a suspected IED, the silence after the blast that took Rodriguez and Williams, 2 men who laughed too loud and died too quiet. The Army taught him discipline. Wake before dawn, pack tight, move with purpose. Those habits stuck even after everything else fell apart. The back injury came first, herniated disc from lifting debris after an ambush. Pills followed. Oxy made the pain manageable, then necessary, then the only thing that mattered. The VA appointments turned into missed appointments. Missed appointments turned into isolation. His wife left when the prescriptions outnumbered the paychecks. His daughter stopped calling when he stopped answering. The bridge 3 blocks away became home when the eviction notice expired. But one thing survived the collapse: music. Late nights at the VA hospital, when sleep wouldn't come and the walls pressed too close, Caleb found an upright piano in the common room. A volunteer named Mrs. Patterson taught him basic chords. Nothing fancy, just enough to quiet the noise. He played for Rodriguez once, a slow melody he made up on the spot. Rodriguez closed his eyes and said it sounded like home. 3 weeks later, Rodriguez was gone. Caleb never finished that song. Now, outside the Grand Meridian, the memory rises sharp and unwelcome. His fingers twitch against his knees. Inside the hotel, the man with the expensive watch is still staring, and he's smiling. Have you ever lost everything except the one thing nobody knew you had? His name is Harlan Crestwick. Real estate, development. Downtown deals that reshape skylines and displaced neighborhoods. He doesn't build homes. He builds portfolios. Inside the fundraiser, people lean in when he speaks. They laugh at jokes that aren't funny. They check their phones when he checks his. Power isn't loud here, it's casual. Harlan adjusts his cufflinks, silver engraved, worth more than Caleb's coat, and surveys the room. Everything is exactly as he designed it. The guest list, the wine selection, the carefully curated auction items that let wealthy people feel charitable without actually changing anything. Control is the point. His assistant approaches, tablet in hand. The mayor's running late, but his office confirmed. Harlan nods once. And the photographer? Positioned by the piano, ready when you are. Perfect. He steps toward the balcony for air, passing servers who flatten themselves against walls to let him through. Outside, the night is sharp and clear. Chicago spreads out below. His city, his skyline, his empire built on knowing exactly when to buy and when to crush. Then he sees him, the homeless man against the wall, probably 40, maybe 60. Hard to tell under all that dirt. Army coat torn at the shoulder. Hands that shake like a junkie's. Harlan's jaw tightens. He pays for this block. His investors expect a certain aesthetic. This isn't it. He pulls out his phone, about to call security, then stops. A better idea surfaces. Something more entertaining. Harlan pockets his phone and walks directly toward Caleb, voice already rising to ensure everyone nearby can hear. What happens when cruelty finds an audience? You've got to be kidding me. Harlan's voice cuts through the street noise. Sharp, loud, designed to carry. A few guests turn. One woman pauses mid-conversation, wine glass halfway to her lips. Caleb doesn't move. This is unbelievable, Harlan continues, gesturing at Caleb like he's pointing out garbage. We're trying to raise money for charity, and the city lets this happen right outside. Someone laughs nervously. Harlan steps closer, shoes clicking against concrete. You even hear me? Or are you too drunk to function? Caleb's jaw tightens, but he keeps his eyes down. He's heard worse, survived worse. This is just noise. A man in a gray suit joins Harlan, drink in hand. Maybe he's waiting for a handout. Aren't they always? Harlan replies. More people drift outside now, forming a loose semicircle. Phones emerge from pockets and purses. The night air sharpens with anticipation. Hey! Harlan snaps his fingers in front of Caleb's face. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Caleb looks up slowly. Their eyes meet. Harlan sees exactly what he expected. Nothing dangerous, nothing threatening. Just another broken man who won't fight back. See that piano in there? Harlan jerks his thumb toward the lobby. That's a $30,000 instrument. You ever touch something worth 30 grand? Caleb says nothing. I didn't think so. Harlan glances at his audience, feeding off their attention. Tell you what, since we're all about giving tonight, play us a song on that piano. Just one. If you can do it without embarrassing yourself, I'll give you $1,000. The number lands like a spotlight. Someone whistles low. Another person mutters, "No way." Caleb's hands stop trembling, not from confidence, from something colder. I haven't played in years, he says quietly. Harlan's grin widens. Then do everyone a favor and stay out here where you belong. Laughter ripples through the crowd. A woman records everything, phone held high. Caleb's breathing slows. In, out. The way Rodriguez taught him before diffusing explosives. Steady, controlled, present. He thinks about the melody he never finished, about dignity that doesn't need permission. May I try? Caleb asks. The laughter stops. Harlan blinks, surprised. Then his smile returns, sharper than before. Oh, this I've got to see. When humiliation becomes entertainment, who's really on trial? Security moves first. A guard steps forward, hand raised. Sir, I don't think... Harlan cuts him off. Let him. The guard hesitates, looking between Harlan and Caleb. Protocol says remove the homeless man. Common sense says stop this before it becomes a problem. But Harlan owns the room. Step aside, Harlan orders. I want to see this. The guard retreats. Caleb stands slowly, joints stiff from sitting too long. His coat hangs loose on his frame, stained with months of survival. He doesn't brush it off or straighten it. There's no point. The crowd parts as he approaches the entrance. Someone whispers, "This is insane." Another voice, "Is someone recording this?" Caleb crosses the threshold. The temperature changes immediately. Heated air, soft lighting, the smell of fresh flowers and wealth. His boots leave faint marks on the marble floor. Each step echoes. He can feel them watching, judging, waiting for the collapse. His hands start shaking again, not from nerves, from the weight of what he's about to do. Expose himself, risk failure, give them exactly what they expect. But something deeper pushes him forward. Rodriguez's voice in his memory. Play like you mean it, man. Play like it matters. Caleb reaches the piano. Black lacquer reflects his face. Older, thinner, unrecognizable. He touches the bench, feels the smoothness of expensive wood beneath his fingertips. Behind him, the crowd presses closer. Harlan stands front and center, arms crossed, smile fixed. "Any time now," Harlan says. Caleb sits. The bench is the right height. The keys are clean, pristine, untouched by anything real. He positions his hands above them, muscle memory taking over. His right hand trembles, then steadies. He thinks about Mrs. Patterson at the VA, her patient voice. Just feel it. The piano doesn't judge. He thinks about Rodriguez, eyes closed, listening. He thinks about every night he played alone, trying to silence the war inside his head. His fingers hover. The room holds its breath. Somewhere in the back, a phone light glows red, recording, broadcasting, capturing everything. Caleb doesn't care anymore. He presses the first key. The note rings out, soft, uncertain, human. Then the second. Then a melody begins to build, slow and deliberate, pulling something raw from a place he thought was dead. The crowd goes silent. Harlan's smile falters, and Caleb keeps playing. What happens when the invisible man becomes impossible to ignore? The melody climbs. Caleb's fingers move across the keys with increasing certainty, pulling notes from somewhere deep and forgotten. The sound fills the lobby, not loud but impossible to ignore. A woman near the bar stops mid-sip, glass frozen at her lips. The melody isn't flashy. No racing scales or dramatic flourishes. Just honest notes strung together like a confession. Each phrase carries weight, grief pressed into sound, memory made audible. Caleb's eyes close. He's not in the Grand Meridian anymore. He's back in that VA common room, playing for Rodriguez at 2 a.m. Rodriguez sitting in the corner, head tilted back, breathing slow. "Sounds like home, man." Wherever that is, the music shifts. Deeper now. The left hand adds bass notes that rumble through the floor. His right hand traces a counter melody, delicate, searching, never quite resolving. Behind him, phones stay raised, but nobody's laughing anymore. A server sets down her tray, hands pressed to her chest. An older man in the back straightens his posture without thinking. Military reflex triggered by something he recognizes but can't name. Harlan's jaw tightens. His arms drop to his sides. The piano's sound bounces off marble walls and high ceilings, filling every corner with something raw. It's not performance, it's survival translated into music. Caleb's hands no longer shake. They remember. Each chord builds on the last, creating a structure that feels both fragile and unbreakable. The melody circles back on itself, repeating a phrase that sounds like a question never answered. A woman in a red dress wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. Someone whispers, "Who is he?" The music grows stronger, not louder, stronger, like watching something broken stand back up. Caleb leans into the keys, his whole body part of the sound now. The chandelier above catches light and throws it across the room in slow patterns. For 3 minutes and 40 seconds, nobody moves. The final chord hangs in the air, unresolved, questioning, human. Caleb's hands lift from the keys. Silence crashes down. Not empty silence, the heavy kind that follows truth. 5 seconds pass. 10. Harlan opens his mouth, but no sound comes out. Then someone in the back starts clapping. Slow, deliberate. Another person joins, then another. The applause builds like a wave, sudden, overwhelming, unstoppable. Caleb sits frozen, unsure what to do with his hands now that the music is gone. A man shouts from the crowd, "Thank you for your service." The applause grows louder. Harlan's face drains of color. Can a single song rewrite a man's worth in 3 minutes? The applause doesn't stop. It builds instead, thunderous, hungry, desperate. People who ignored Caleb outside now clap until their palms sting. The woman in red is crying openly. The veteran in the back salutes, hands sharp against his forehead. Caleb stands slowly, legs unsteady. He turns to face them. The crowd surges forward, voices overlapping. "That was incredible. Where did you learn to play like that? Can you play another one?" Hands reach toward him, not to push him away, but to pull him closer. Security guards who were ready to remove him now stand frozen, unsure how the script flipped. Harlan clears his throat. Everyone turns. Well, Harlan says, voice tight, guess you proved me wrong. The words land wrong, stiff, forced, empty. Caleb looks at him directly. I didn't play for you, Caleb says. The lobby goes quiet again. Harlan's face flushes red. His hand moves to his pocket, fumbling. He pulls out a money clip, thick with hundreds, and peels off bills without counting. Here. He shoves the cash toward Caleb. Take it and go. Caleb doesn't reach for the money. He just stands there, still as stone. I said take it, Harlan snaps. I heard you, Caleb replies quietly. The crowd shifts uncomfortably. Phones are still recording. Every word, every movement, every flicker of Harlan's rage is being captured and uploaded. Caleb turns away from Harlan and faces the others. I'm not asking for pity, he says, voice steady. Just respect. The applause erupts again, louder this time, defiant. Someone shouts, You've earned it. Another voice. More respect than some people here? Harlan's hand drops, money still gripped tight. His eyes dart to the phones, to the cameras, to the faces watching him expectantly. He's lost control, and everyone knows it. A young woman near the front taps her phone screen twice. It's live, she whispers to her friend. 50,000 people are watching. Harlan's jaw clenches. Caleb walks toward the exit, shoulders straight, head high. The crowd parts for him like water. When does a moment become a movement? The video uploads in fragments, not the insult. Not Harlan's face, just the music. By midnight, it's been shared 400 times. By morning, 40,000. The caption reads, Homeless veteran plays piano. You won't believe what happens next. But the real story spreads through comments. Someone identifies the hotel. Another person recognizes Harlan from business magazines. A third posts a screenshot of Caleb's words. I'm not asking for pity, just respect. That line becomes the headline. News outlets pick it up by noon. Local stations first, then national. The video plays on loop. Caleb's hands on the keys, the crowd going silent, the applause that followed. Harlan's company starts getting calls. Investors ask questions. Board members schedule emergency meetings. His assistant quits via text message. 3 sponsors pull funding from his next development project. His lawyer advises silence, but the internet doesn't need his response to form an opinion. Meanwhile, Caleb returns to the bridge. He doesn't own a phone, doesn't know about the video, doesn't realize his face is being shared across every platform. He just knows he played, and something inside him woke up. 2 days later, a man finds him. Tall, early 50s, military haircut despite being out for years. He stands at a distance first, watching Caleb fold his coat with precise corners. Caleb Rourke? The man asks. Caleb looks up, wary. Depends who's asking. Evan Holt. He steps closer, hands visible, unthreatening. I run second chance housing for veterans. Caleb's jaw tightens. Not interested in charity. Good, what Evan says, because I'm not offering it. Silence stretches between them. You saved my life once, Evan continues. Helmand Province, 2013. Convoy route you cleared. IED didn't go off because you found it first. Caleb's eyes narrow, searching the man's face. I've been looking for you for 3 years, Evan says. The video made it easy. He holds out a business card. You don't owe me anything, Evan adds, but I owe you everything. What do you do when the debt comes due in reverse? The apartment is small but clean. 1 bedroom, kitchenette, windows that actually lock. Caleb stands in the doorway, unable to step inside. It's yours, Evan says behind him. No strings. No rent for the first 3 months while you get situated. Caleb's hands grip the doorframe. Why? Because you earned it. Evan sets down a bag of groceries on the counter. And because nobody should live under a bridge after what you did for this country. The words hit harder than Caleb expects. He steps inside slowly, boots quiet on actual flooring. There's a couch, a table, a bed in the next room that isn't cardboard or concrete. There's more, Evan says. VA benefits you never claimed. Back pay, medical coverage. I've got a guy who specializes in cases like yours. He'll walk you through everything. Caleb sits on the couch, suddenly exhausted. And therapy, Evan continues. Whenever you're ready, no pressure, but the offer stands. What about the piano? Caleb asks quietly. Evan smiles. Funny you mention that. He pulls out his phone, shows Caleb the video. 3 million views now. Comments flooding in from veterans, musicians, people who just needed to see someone stand back up. You've got options, Evan says. A music school in Lincoln Park called. They want to offer you lessons, free, full scholarship. A couple of venues reached out too. Small stuff, coffee shops, nothing huge. Caleb stares at the screen, watching himself play. He barely recognizes the man at the piano. You don't have to decide anything today, Evan adds. Just know that people see you now. Really see you. Caleb nods, throat tight. That night, alone in the apartment, he sits at the table and stares at his hands. They're steadier now, clean. The shaking has calmed. He thinks about Rodriguez, about the song he never finished, about how sometimes the only way forward is through sound. 3 weeks later, an envelope arrives. Thick paper, official seal. Inside, an invitation to perform at the National Veterans Memorial Hall. 2 months from now. Primetime broadcast, and handwritten at the bottom, finish the song. Can you honor the dead by finally living? The stage lights are blinding. Caleb sits at a grand piano, bigger than the one at the hotel, older, scarred with history. Behind him, 2,000 people wait in silence. He's practiced for weeks. Evan helped him refine the piece. Mrs. Patterson came out of retirement to coach him through the difficult sections. But this moment is his alone. His hands touch the keys. The first note rings clear. The melody begins. The same one from that night, but complete now. No more unanswered questions, just memory given form. Halfway through, Caleb glances at the front row. A man sits rigid, tears streaming down his face. His lips move silently, forming a name. Rodriguez. Caleb's fingers stumble for half a second, then continue. The man's hand rises. Not a salute, but recognition. The song builds toward its final chord. And Caleb realizes some debts can only be paid forward. Whose life will your courage save next?